Now, there are many difficult things that one must see and learn in a fight to restore the Biafran freedom. If we are considerate enough, we should be able to define ourselves in that very proceedings where things must be done in accordance. Number one is that we cannot be a people that should be pushed into the cave. That has always been my stand. We cannot be a people that is pushed into the cave. But I've gotten to realize that now that some African presidents are beginning to detach themselves from US and France with the European countries who have spent more time in destroying the soil of Africa. They take our resources and give us peanuts. Take our resources and give us peanuts. They're not tired of giving us peanuts because they feel that we are monkeys from Africa. And watching at what happened in Mali, how the military people take over the Mali and Niger with Guinea and the rest of them to stop some democratic system of government who are bent on destroying Africa with the final vessel. I must say that the big news has begun. The big news has just begun. We are committed in doing the things that we ought to do, and we must pull ourselves together. We must definitely put ourselves together and have this handwriting on our chest. You see, we must continue to help ourselves in one way or the other and put ourselves in a virtuous manner where the road that leads to victory must be achieved, must be actualized. So now that everybody is joining the Russian department and putting ourselves together to see one voice and one Africa, we must again communicate and give ourselves the best, and the best of it must be the best, where Africa must rise and Biafra will rise as well, because we cannot continue to live as slaves in our own land. Some of the black people who have decided to sell themselves to their slave master, many Igbos from the east who have decided to sell themselves to the slave masters must understand that Ogenta Irugo. Yes. Onye na-achụ nta kwesịrị ịma na nta ga-achụbazi ya. Victory has been recorded. First of all, let me make 2 points. Number one is that Nnamdi Kanu has to be released. Number two is that the referendum has to be set. A lot of distractions is already happening in the southeast. Biafrans are being taken home. Undoubtedly, they are being taken home, they are being rejected, and they are being thrown aboard. We must understand that the situation is becoming more financed as a lot of things begins to, give more space to these enemies of freedom. You see, I must say it the way it is. We should be able to understand two important factors. Number one is that the factors we play is a factor that represents different categories. One must share and understand that wherever we put our eggs, it should be in the right side of history. If we continue to communicate properly, then we will eventually find our way into that proceedings. That proceedings that has to do with a lot of powerful engagement. And that is where we belong. Biafra today, Biafra tomorrow, and Biafra forever. Now, the investment of Biafra has become a wide range that some people are more confused than before. They fail to understand that the things that has to do with Biafra is and must be taken gradually. If we don't put it well, mistakes will be made, teleportations will be confused for victory, and lots of people are going to lose it. Typically, knowing fully well that frustration is going to happen, and when that eventually happens, to become a non-channel for what we persevere. Biafra will eventually come, but one thing that will make it come fast and faster than the way it is now is a journey of where 2 or 3 will gather and agree that there is an error that has played out lately. A serious error has played out lately. We cannot put ourselves in one corner and continue to, fight ourselves on the grounds that things should not happen appropriately. Now, number one is that Nnamdi Kanu must be released. Number two is that things must be done in accordance, and if those things are done well, then what belongs to Caesar will be given to Caesar, and what belongs to the kings will be given to the kings. Let's be very mindful. A date has been signed, the release must be made, Biafra must be actualized, Biafra must be achieved, and good news will continue to happen. Your Gazeko Siwega, Makanoye Zirozi Asegene, Ozia Yoruo Naga, Umuchineke. Ọ dịgo ka o gosiwedo mana onye kwuru okwu si gịnị